Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to the Deen Seekers. My name is Irfan, this is my first time with you guys and I'm joined with Sheikh Abu Usamah. And today we're going to be discussing marriage. But before we jump into that, I thought it'd be best if we have a light-hearted little this or that questions. So Sheikh, you ready?
I'm ready, but before that I would just like to say, number one, I'm a very old person and I don't play around. A lot of times the interviews, podcasts, they have things, Sheikh talk with the Sheikh and they go overboard. I'm not one of them guys. I'm a serious person. I'll crack your head open. But today, I'm going to be easy with you.
Got me worried there. Wait, stop.
But seriously, I don't go too overboard with playing around. But the Prophet ﷺ had a character. He had, in his character, where he used to play jokes. They would pray Salatul Asr, Salatul Fajr. He would turn around to the people and they would start telling him their dreams and things they did in Jahiliyyah. And it would be funny. The Prophet would smile and the other ones would smile. So we have to know, you have to be lighthearted and you have to know when to be lighthearted. You have to be serious. You have to know when to be serious because Allah mentioned in the Quran, He is the one who made us cry and laugh. So you can't be the person who cry all the time for everything. You can't be the person who never laughs or you laugh at everything. So we have to be balanced. So tafadhal.
Okay, so first up we have tea or coffee. Which one do you prefer?
If I had to choose one of the two, it depends on the situation because neither one of them I need, neither one. But one of my wives is a coffee addict and she loves Starbucks. And you brought Starbucks. So my wife gets headaches when she doesn't get caffeine. So whenever I call her, if she's out and about, I say, where you at? And she doesn't want to tell me. I say, I know where you at. You're at the crack house. And the crack house is Starbucks. So she'll call me and say, I'm at the crack house. So I say, okay. Now if someone who didn't know us heard me saying to my wife, hey, honey, you at the crack house? They're going to come to the community and say, Abu Usamah is smoking crack. But crack is coffee. So either one of them are okay with me. I don't really have an affinity for either one. It depends on the situation. But if I were to be honest, I like hot chocolate.
Really?
I'm a hot chocolate dude.
I thought you were about coffee because I remember the other night you said coffee.
I'm a hot chocolate dude. I like caramel macchiato, but I'm a hot chocolate dude.
Okay, so next up we have phone calls or texts. Which one do you prefer receiving?
I have to say text messages. I have more freedom and liberty to get back at the person at my free time. But it's a problem with that as well because I get so many that they get pushed down. So out of sight, out of mind. And then I don't get back to people. And that's very unprofessional, very Islamic. And sometimes it's important. But I prefer the text, yes. But I don't text back. I usually give voice messages back because I can't text all of that.
It's more convenient, isn't it, to be on the voice note? So then I've got down, do you prefer being the passenger in the car or a driver?
Passenger all day. I don't know how to drive. I'm from America and I've been here about 20 years or so and I still can't drive that well. I mean, on the highway, the motorway, I drive well. But when I come to roundabouts, I psych myself out. I start freaking out. There's a lot going on. So in America, the streets are very wide. The steering wheel is on the correct side of the car and all the cars on the correct side. And there are not too many things you have to worry about. But here, not only do you have to worry about all of these signs and all of these things and roundabouts, but you have to worry about the parking wardens. You have to worry about the police with those cameras. You have to worry about the highway with the cameras. Do you have insurance? So you have all of that to worry about. Plus, the Mr. Magoo drivers, those people who have those Coca-Cola bottle glasses that they can't see, old people can't drive. So it's crazy here, to be honest with you, brother. So I'd rather be a passenger because when I go different places, people take me and I fall asleep and I'm waking up when I arrive at the place.
It's easier, isn't it? So do you prefer countryside or city life? The quiet side or the busy side?
I grew up in the city and I like the city, but I like to take the city life on my own terms, in and out. I don't want to live there. I don't like that dog-eat-dog hustle, bustle, that grind that is back in New York, on the East Coast, in London. But I love London and I love Paris and I love New York and I love Brooklyn. I love Peking, China, and Hargeisa, and I love those big cities. I love it. There's a vibe there. But I want it on my own terms. When I want to go, I go. I don't want to live in those places. And that's why I love West Yorkshire so much. Keighley, Leeds. This area is, subhanAllah, aesthetically, does a lot for my spirit. Like mentally, makes me feel comfortable. And then the brothers who are here as well, they're just a lot more common. Now, don't get me wrong. Mere Puris be bugging up here like they be bugging all over the place. But they seem to be more cooler. I like this place in West Yorkshire.
Okay. So one last one. Do you prefer sweet or savoury if you were to have a snack?
Well, it depends. If I'm with my daughters, I like sweet. And if I'm with my sons, I like savoury.
Okay. So let's get into the topic then. So, do you think that people in this day and age are getting married later in life compared to people in the past? And why do you think that is?
Well, I'm sure these types of statistics can be found and you can get a precise answer. So I don't know the precise answer, so I'll answer based upon experience. But I definitely think people are getting married later on in life. And with you being a Mirpuri, it was from the etiquette and the culture that Mirpuris get married young, 15, 16, 17. When I lived in Keighley, most of the brothers had been married at like 4 years old, 5 years old.
Seriously.
I'm exaggerating, but I was like, man, so when I meet some of the kids today, I say, Assalamu alaikum, what's your name? How old are you? He say 13. I say, are you married? And he'll look shocked. So I would say that they're getting married later now. I think they're getting married later. And me, I have a number of daughters, 15, 16, and two of my daughters are not inclined to education. They don't want education. They don't like it. They're not dumb. They're not stupid. They're learning the Quran. They're good girls, obedient girls. I love them. From here to the moon, back again, and to the moon and back again, and past Saturn, back again, and Jupiter, back, and you get the picture. I love them. But I could clearly see marriage is better for them than worrying about them getting a degree. Because it's just not their forte. But would I marry my daughter at 16, 17? Kalla, wallahi. Because the kids right now are not as mature as they were before. I know when I was young and I was running the streets, wilding out, at the age of 5 years old, you start school in America. You go to what's known as kindergarten. That is a German name. I think it's called the garden for children, kids garden. We used to walk for about 15 minutes from our home, which was the projects, the ghetto, those high-rise buildings. A lot of drama in them. You don't want to grow up in those places. But anyway, we would walk from our homes. We would all gather and we would walk 15 minutes. And we would go through about 4 or 5 big major thoroughways in the street. Dangerous, but we did it. Because at that time we were cut like that. And when we used to play around, we used to jump from building to building. And if you fall, you're dead. I had about 4 or 5 kids when I was young. They got ran over by trains. They got hit by cars. They fell off of the building just playing. Because we would do this thing called truth or dare. When you dare the person, you have to do it. You lose your life. So right now, my kids, none of them walk to school. None of them. And I want to take this opportunity to ask Allah to bless my wives who are mujahidat. They're people of jihad. I'm living here. My wife is back there. And she does a school run in the morning, a school run in the evening to pick all my kids up. Because we're not comfortable with our children walking to school. So we're definitely living in a different time. Prophet Muhammad said in an authentic hadith, "Ma min aamin illa walladhi ba'duhu sharrun minhu." There's no year except the one that comes after is worse than the one that precedes. So we're living in the worst time. This is the worst time to be unmarried. This is the worst time to be young. This is the worst time to be a teenager. This is the worst time to be unemployed because the fitna, we're close to Yawmul Qiyamah. So I think people are getting married later now, and that's not necessarily a blameworthy thing. Like I said, I'm not marrying my daughter who's 15 and 16 because she's still a baby, unless Isa ibn Maryam came. I marry her to Isa ibn Maryam, but I'm not marrying her to any sheikh or any brother. It has to be an extraordinary cat altogether.
I think you are right about the mature levels, though, like as in nowadays we all do have like a different quality of life. So our parents do give us a different upbringing compared to back in the days. Like you were saying, that I imagine my dad had to grow up quick. You know, by my age, he had everything on lock. You know, so I do think that is the time of times.
Yeah, man, and that's a fact. I mean, with what I went through, I always tell my kids, I always tell them, if you lie to me, it's hammer time. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what hammer time is, just ask our students at Mr. Rahman here. They know what hammer time is. And I'm not talking about MC Hammer. Dun, 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 I'm not talking about that. Hammer time. So I tell my kids, you lie to me, you're going to have a problem because I know what time it is. And I'm not talking about the watch or the clock on the wall. I know what time it is. I was born March 10th. And I was born in the night. About 9:30, and I was born in rain. It was raining. My mother told me all that. My father told me all that. But I always tell my kids, I wasn't born last night, and I wasn't born with the last rain. I've been on this earth for a minute, and I was, hanging out. So don't come give me that riff-raff nonsense excuses about things. So the times are definitely different now. Mm-hmm. I always felt, Irfan, that because of my upbringing and my background, coming from where I come from in America, that I always will be able to understand my kids and there won't be a generation gap between me and the youngsters. And I think I've closed that generation gap naturally between them and the shabab of the ummah. But there's a generation gap because I don't know about IT.
Yeah.
My kids are playing with stuff. When I come in, they start acting a particular way. But I could tell from their movement, something is up. So instead of, I'll get one of them and I'll bribe them. And I'll get them and then he'll rat everyone else out. That's what we say in America. When you grass on people, you ate cheese and you was a rat. You don't want to be a rat. So they can definitely hide a lot of stuff when it comes to like IT and things like that. So there is a generation gap, brother. And it's something that we have to do something about, closing it all together or reducing it to the best of our ability.
Definitely. So, should people avoid making it difficult to get married? For example, caste issues or looking at somebody's wealth or whatnot. Should they avoid that kind of stuff? Make it easy.
Okay. Should they avoid not getting married?
No, should they avoid making it difficult to get married?
Absolutely. It's not religious to make things difficult for people. The religion makes things easy for people. That's the general rule. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ مَعَ عُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ عُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Ease comes after difficulty. There are many ayat and many hadith. The Prophet told his companions when he went to give them dawah, when they went to give dawah, yassiru wa la tu'assiru. Make things easy. Don't make things difficult. Allah said in the Quran that He was the one that made for us مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. He didn't make things difficult for you in your religion. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you. He doesn't want difficulty. So with all of those ayat, Allah is Al-Latif, gentle, Al-Halim, forgiving, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. And here you come rough and tough. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So the thing about making things easy is important. So as it relates to marriage, the Prophet said specifically, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if anyone comes to you seeking to get married to your daughter and you are satisfied with his deen and his khuluq, his akhlaq, then marry him. And if you don't marry him, you're going to be responsible for making fitna in the earth. A lot of fitna. He's gonna go and do something crazy. The daughter's gonna go do something crazy with each other, with other people, and the mother and the father are responsible for that. So we don't make it difficult, but we don't make it easy as well to the degree where we're being irresponsible. So my daughter wants to get married, and a Mirpuri brother comes to marry my daughter. The Mirpuri come to get married to my daughter. I'm gonna say, look, Irfan, you got a wife already? This is just an example. I don't want your wife tripping out. I don't want your wife tripping out.
She gotta watch this. No,
your wife, her mother, your father would be sitting here saying. So, as it relates to you coming to marry my daughter, I'm gonna say to you, well, My daughter's gonna have to go and meet your grandmother and meet your grandfather. She won't be able to communicate that well, maybe, and this and that, or this and that. That's not a good, and I'm just gonna marry her because you're a good dude? No, I gotta look at everything. And that's why I always tell these brothers and sisters, these young people, the youngsters don't have a lot of the baggage that their mothers and fathers had. Somalis, when tribalism, Pakistanis, Arabs, they have tribalism. A lot of us, really bad. The parents had it bad. Our kids don't have that. Some of them don't even know their tribes. So the girl meets a guy, the Somali girl meets a brother who's not Somali or from another tribe. He's a revert, white, black, Jamaican. Her mother or father, they are not interested. They don't want to hear it. I always say to that girl, blood is thicker than water. Don't go elope with that guy. Don't do it. You need your family. Either bring them on board for that marriage, or let it go. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in taraka shay'an lillah, uwadahu ma huwa khayru minhu. Whoever does something and he leaves it for Allah, Allah will replace it with that which is better. So if your parents are making things difficult for you, fight, jihad, with respect, good akhlaq, get them on board. Bring me in. I'll come in, I'll help you. Bring your uncle in. Bring this one in. Just try. 1 month, 2 months, 6 months you've been trying. Because the sister, you think she's your soulmate. She's going to be your queen. You're going to be a king. So be patient. But do not elope. Do not run off without the support of your family. Because if you have problems with that marriage, your parents won't be there to support you. If you marry without them being on board, you'll do Eid by yourself every year. If you marry that person without your parents, when the girl has to have a baby, she has no support. So look at the bigger picture. I ask all of you by Allah, as your older brother, your uncle, pump your brakes and slow down. And don't marry people without your parents being involved in the equation. But I say to the mothers and the fathers, what's wrong with you? You're making things difficult for your kids, and you saw what happened with you. Some of these Muslims practice something called circumcision. That's from the Sunnah for the men and the women, boys and girls. But the circumcision that some Muslims do is haram. It's mutilation. The World Health Organization said if you do that, you're going to jail. So if the girl comes from her country, they may check her. They could put the mother and father in jail because what they're doing is haram. Do the khitan of the Sunnah. That's it. But anyway, the point is, the mother knows what she went through when she got that circumcision when she was small. I'm just, excuse me, but I have to tell you this situation. She knew the pain of the cut. And then when she got married, her periods, she knew the pain of that and the problems. Then she got married. She knew the pain of that. And then she's going to do the same thing to her daughter. So the same thing with this forced marriages and all this stuff, making things difficult for people. What's wrong with the parents? You went through it, and you're going to turn around and do it to your kids. So something is wrong with the people. Culture is a problem sometimes. And that's what I want to say before we move on to the next point. There's a book by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Good book. And that book is called Masail al-Jahiliyyah. The issues of Jahiliyyah that the people of Jahiliyyah were upon. The things that they used to do that caused them to reject the religion. And one of the things that they did was, when Prophet Muhammad came to them with La ilaha illallah, they said, we're not following you. We're going to follow what our fathers were doing, the culture. And everybody knows Abdul Muttalib, he died on kufr because he didn't want to leave the religion of his forefathers.
And so, could you tell us a story about Musa alayhi salam and how his story can teach us lessons about the decisions we should make? Well, what lessons we could take from it?
Well, concerning Musa, everybody can go back and check the story about Musa. He was mentioned in the Quran more than anybody else because he's a tremendous prophet and a tremendous messenger sent to Bani Israel, and he had all of those mu'jizat. And part of his story is when he was in Egypt, he killed a man from, Pharaoh, trying to save his own clansmen, countrymen from Bani Israel. That guy from Bani Israel kept linking up, getting in trouble with the Pharaoh dude, kept getting in trouble. Every time he get in trouble, he said, Musa, help me. He'll help him. Then he get it again. Musa said, you are a troublesome guy. You always in drama, man. So he would help him. Then one time he came to help him, he punched a man and killed him. And that's because Musa had extraordinary strength, like all of the prophets and the messengers. He had all extraordinary strength. The angel of death came in the form of a man to take his life. And he said, I'm here to take your life. Musa punched him and knocked his eye out. Sahih Bukhari. Punched him and knocked his eye out. Angel of death went to Allah and said, I went to Musa. He didn't knock my eye out. That's because he didn't know you were the angel of death. You went to him as a man. Go back now and tell him, put his hand on the back of a thawr. All of the hairs that he can hold will determine how much longer he's going to live. When the angel came back, Musa saw his eye is fixed. There's no plastic surgery back then. So Musa knew, oh, wow. And then he knew. So the point is, he was strong. And a lot of hadith about that. But anyway, he punched that man one time, put his lights out permanently, stick a fork in him. I mean, he was done. But he had to run because he murdered someone. He murdered and he committed a major crime before being a Nabi. So prophets and messengers don't do the major sins after becoming prophets. But before, they can. But once they become prophets, they can do smaller things. And they make Tawbah right away. So as he was traveling, he made the dua, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayran faqir. Oh my Lord, I am in dire need of any help you're going to send to me. I need help. And then he saw the men were watering their camels. And then he went to go help the water and he saw two women over there and he asked them the question, Ma khatbukuma? What's wrong with you? You staying far back and the men over there, they said, nah, we're going to let them guys, because they had hayat. They had hayat. Men and women don't mix in our religion. That's Bani Israel. So Musa watered for them. And then they went back and told their father that the scholar said was Salih, Jethro, in the Quran, in the Bible too. And then one of the girls came back to tell him, my father wants you. Why did she come? Because he didn't have any other sons. So his daughter had to go. And the ayah of the Quran says she came to Musa walking shy and with bashu. She didn't come walking like a Don Corleone.
Yeah.
You know Don Corleone?
I know Don Corleone, Godfather, yeah.
She came walking bashfully. Hayat. Can't be a woman screaming out. A woman on internet, TikTok, Muslim women are dancing. And what are you doing? So when she came, she said, listen, my father wants you to meet, she told her father, why don't you hire him? He's a trustworthy. And he went and he agreed. So that's part of the story of Musa. So he agreed with her father that he would work for him for so many years. And he married her daughter. So it's a tremendous story. And I'm going to say this. The brother Nu'man Ali Khan. I don't want you brothers and sisters to be fanboys, fangirls to anybody. Sheikh, Da'i. Don't be one of them people, the Sheikh. Sheikh glow in the dark. The Sheikh glow in the dark. Ooh, nah, that ain't our religion. But respect people who have knowledge. But everybody make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Nu'man Ali Khan does a good job in some of the tafsirs of the Quran. We just wished and hoped that he would just be more clear about the important issue of Aqidah. But when he talked about this issue, he did a good job. But that's not me saying I condone and endorse all of the tafsir and everything he says and he does. But I do remember he did a good job about this issue from what my memory serves me. So if you want to go back and check that out, you'll get more benefit, inshallah.
Spot on. He did do a very good breakdown of it.
You saw that?
I've seen it, yeah.
All right.
It's very good.
Hey, before you go on, what's your profession, brother?
So I'm currently doing videos for the masjid and whatnot, but I'm also at uni. So
I would suggest, man, now that you're doing this, man, you can become a news reporter or something like that.
Well,
you have a knack for it. Really? You're natural, yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean, me and my brother did do a company where we were doing online courses, so I've got a bit of experience.
No, I mean, inshallah, I'm going to talk to some people in the community, try to get some money up, pay for you to go to Afghanistan to give us some on-the-ground news.
Get me killed by my wife before I go there.
Nah, man, I'm in a good mood today. How much time do we have before Salah?
We've got 10 minutes.
Okay, we good then. We in like Flint. Go ahead.
So, should we avoid big fancy weddings? So, for example, hiring cars.
Nah. I think the ayah of the Quran is clear. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة كذلك نفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. This is Allah making inkar against people. He said, who has the nerve and the audacity to make haram what Allah made halal from the tayyibat, the pure and the good things? Tell them, Muhammad, these pure things, these good things are for those who believe, especially Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's only for them. But it's for everybody in the dunya. So people come and say, Pepsi is haram. Mountain Dew is haram. Why Mountain Dew? That's my drink. Why Mountain Dew? Because the Jews, come on, man, back up and miss me with that. Haram? It's from what Allah made halal. Don't come and make things haram. What you talking about? So having a big wedding is permissible for people who have that kind of dough. And having a wedding within your means for people who don't have a lot of dough. So it depends on the people's situation. Islam doesn't tell rich people have a poor man's wedding. But we all have to be careful about being exaggerating, wasting money, because those people are the brothers of the shayateen, those people who waste. But if a man has money like that, and the people who are coming to his wedding, 95% of them pulling up in Bentleys and Rolls Royce, what you gonna tell them? You're gonna give him a Mickey Mouse burger wedding? No, you're gonna give him something comparable to that. He's gonna do what he's used to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But generally speaking, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the best nikah, the best walima is the easy one. So that's the general rule. So we find that Rasulullah didn't spend a lot of money on his wives, his companions didn't spend a lot of money. But during the time of Umar, Islam was spreading and he got a lot of wealth. And so Umar said, if any man gives a dowry more than such and such, 200 pounds, more than that, more than 200, we're going to take the superfluous, the extra, and take it and put it in the Baytul Mal, and she can get just what Rasulullah gave. The lady said to the Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, should we listen to you, or does Allah have more rights to listen to? He said, Allah has more rights. The lady read the ayat of the Quran in Surah An-Nisa. What's the ayat? The qintar, وَإِنْ أَتَيْتُمْ مِنْهُنَّ قِنْطَارًا وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ اسْتِبْدَالَ زَوْجٍ مَكَانَ زَوْجٍ وَآتَيْتُمْ إِحْدَاهُنَّ قِنْطَارًا فَلَا تَأْخُذُوا مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. If you want to change one wife for another, you want to get divorced, then the one you're going to divorce her, then don't take any of her dowry back that you gave her, even if you gave her a whole hoard, a treasure. More than a treasure, £1 billion. So the lady read that ayat to Umar, that Allah said, even if you gave her a qintar, treasure, don't take it back. So it shows she can get a lot of money. So when Umar heard that, he didn't fight against it. He said the woman is right and Umar is wrong. And that's our religion. Mm-hmm. That's the sunnah that we're on. This cultural Malvi Saab, the Imam knows, man, get out of here with that. It's not the man, maybe he knows, maybe don't know. Umar. He had to be reminded by a woman. So we can give many examples of that. So that goes to show it's on and based upon a person's ability. So if he has a lot of ched and a lot of dough, and he has those types of bourgeois people who are in his sphere of influence, his circle of people we know, it's permissible. But we have to be careful about wasting and know that the general rule is the easier the wedding is, the better. Okay. The dowry and everything.
Well, more specifically, what about like dancing and stuff? Is that allowed? You know, people have
man, you could dance all day, man. You could do the stinky leg. You could do
the stinky leg, yeah.
The stinky leg was wild. You could dance all you want, but when my daughter gets married and we go home, and when we're in the privacy of our own home, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna be dancing with my daughter. My wives, my daughter, they're gonna and they be playing the duff. And I'm gonna be sitting there, I'm gonna say to my kid, little Sheba, go shorty. I won't say it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Irfan, I'll be there. Will I be dancing there? No, because they respect me as their dad, but I definitely will be enjoying that day with my daughter. She's there with her sisters, her cousins, and her friends, and they got a duff, and they're doing the dances because they have culture. They have a background, where they come from. They want to do that? No problem, just with the duff. as for putting on the baby, and putting on those other hip hop stuff, no, none of that. But yeah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of Eid, he allowed the Ethiopians to play in the masjid, and he let Aisha look. And she said she had enough. He said, I only let her look so that the Jews would know. And our Deen is ease. This is a day of celebration. Abu Bakr came into the house. Aisha had two friends singing, just singing without music. And Abu Bakr said, hey, are the flutes of Shaitan in Rasulullah's house? What are you doing? Prophet Muhammad said, Abu Bakr, leave them. Leave them. Every people have a day of Eid celebration, and this is our day of Eid. So in the context of the nikah, it's party time within the religion. And I'm against those ISIS mentality brothers. Rough and tough. Even on this day, no, let your wife and children and daughters and sons, let them cool out with their cousins. Just what's haram, keep it out. But we can have nice, enjoyable, halal entertainment. And I'm here to say I experienced that with my children's wedding.
Of course. So enjoy yourself, basically. Have a good time. Man.
Enjoy yourself within the religion.
Yeah, okay.
I went to a wedding during the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. I went to a wedding during those days. A good friend of mine asked me to come give a speech. And he's a pretty well-to-do guy. And the place was very expensive. And when the girl and the boy came in, and you could see the people were wealthy. The car park had all kind of nice cars. When the girl and the boy came in, they played the music. Here comes the bride. I was shocked. I never saw that in my, but what am I going to do? I'm going to freak out? Man, I ain't going to freak out. I haven't seen stranger than this, worse than this. I'm giving dawah. Well, I'm going to get up and take the mic and say, y'all going to hell? That's crazy. So they did their thing. Photos, mixing, women, no hijab. It was a mess, a hot mess. But I was there to support the brother. And I was there to give dawah, ilallah. So when they asked me to come at the beginning to give a word, I'm figuring out what I'm going to talk about now. How do I address all of this? And do I even address it and then make people look at me and people are practiced as being the, sour grapes? So I said, okay. Like Musa's dua, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khair faqir. Oh Allah, help me, I need your help. And so what I did, I just explained that when Rasulullah conducted a wedding, he would say to people, Barakallahu lakuma wa barakallahu fikuma wa jama'allahu baynakuma fi khair. May Allah put you and this girl together in good. May Allah combine you and your wife and all your relatives and friends in this marriage. Make it all good. May Allah put blessings in this. And I explained that. I explained for about 5-7 minutes that the barakah is going to come when you wear hijab. The barakah is going to come when you follow the sunnah. The barakah is going to come when you make it Islamic. The barakah, your job. And then when I finish, they clap.
Yeah, you want them over in the right way,
Meaning they were okay with that. Although I'm against clapping. So I said, may Allah bless you all. But clapping is for women in salat. And for the men, we say subhanallah. So make the dhikr of Allah. And I left. So I felt I validated, inshallah, my presence by giving dawah. And after that, I just sat with the 10 brothers at my table. And I enjoyed that Pakistani curry food, man. I enjoyed it, man. Yeah.
But anyways, we've got a few more questions, but unfortunately we're going to be out of time soon. So inshallah, we'll continue another time. Alhamdulillah, I feel like we've got some good pointers over there. What do you think? I went.
Irfan, since I've been here, man, you're one of the brothers I really like. I like in the community. You give me an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. And I'm trying to get more of the shabab to step up to the pump and the plate and to do something. Today after Salat, I told one of my students in the class who I know is ultra, super quiet. We made Salat. I said, I want you to go up there and tell the people, brothers and sisters, please donate. When I told him that, he looked at me and I could see him. He was nervous. I said, come on, man, because I just want to make him strong. But I know he may suffer from social anxiety, so I didn't push him too much. So I let him go. So he may not be the guy for that job, but I'll get him to do something else, inshallah. So you one of the older brothers and you doing this stuff, it pleases me, man. So it's all good in the neighborhood. And I say peace in the Middle East.